Hi people, Newbie, back again. Today, as promised, we're continuing with the idea of going back in time and reviewing what has happened over the last months of this build. And the last time I did this, I did episodes, videos number 1 through 5. And today we're going to pick up with 6 through 10 and bring you up to speed on where we've been, and I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. A couple of progress points. One, this is the mountains. One of the things that just jumps right out at me is if you look at the layout here, you see that big yellow wall in the back of the layout, and so I wanted to do something about that. Actually, I put this on, I made a cardboard template, cut the template out to fit the area, and then I laid the backdrop on the cardboard and cut it to fit the shape of the area that I wanted. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm not real pleased with my ability to finish the edges, so to speak, but it's okay. It'll be fine. Okay, next thing that we've accomplished is in looking at the area of the trestle. When I got ready to cut out a hole, and you see here that I've laid the trestle out the way I want it, and I've got some track stacked up on wood blocks there. But the whole idea is that the trestle will be actually higher than seen in this picture, because the track has to meet the top of that white foam there on the right. So I'm going to have to build the trestle up a little bit so that it's even with the track, even with where the track comes out of the tunnel there on the right. And then it'll go into the tunnel just right across the trestle and go back down and loop around and come back out where that flex track is you see there, or I'm sorry, that unitrack you see there. So the whole idea of where we are with the rest of the layout, you see here that it's all coming together pretty nicely. I've got the grade done up to the mountain area. That area as you see on the right here, is going to of course be in tunnel around to coming out there at the trestle, and the stacked up foam that you see in the back corner there is where the coal mine goes. Speaking of mountains, AnyRail has a 3D feature that will help some of you see what I've been talking about. I don't know why I haven't shown it to you before, but it's really puts into perspective. Now, the pictures that are shown here aren't really as high as I plan in the mountain area, but this gives you an idea of what the mountainous terrain will look like, where the tunnels will go, and you see that the dotted lines are tunnels and the solid lines are of course exposed. So it's going to be I think it's going to look pretty good. I'm excited to get to that point of actually being able to visualize, if you will, what the true layout dimensions are going to be in 3D. The train length is dictated by the length of the reverse loops, and I'm going to have 2 reverse loops in here, and so I can't have a train that's longer than the reverse loops. The train has to be fully contained within the reverse loop for the reverse loop to work well, from what I understand. Today, we're running trains. Well, sort of. I've got, as you see here, I've got a loop set up. This is actually comes through the yard, and it'll go around. On the far end is a reverse loop, and then on the near end is another reverse loop. So basically there's 2 reverse loops here, And you see this little train running around in here is just to test the track. And so, yeah, I can lay track. And it works. Good for me, huh? Well, you see, it doesn't go all the way around. I'm still working on the actual layout of the yard ladder. And so that top of the yard ladder is, of course, 2 turnouts, and those aren't wired up yet. So that's why the train stops there. But so we are running trains. I found the yard area, that sheet of asphalt type material. I bought that off of one of those online sites, and it basically came in a sheet. I thought that'll probably work out pretty well for the yard area. I didn't want to do road bed all through there. That it just didn't work out right for me. So I thought I'd try that, and it works good. I need to do some more trimming on it, but that's going to look pretty good, I think. The other thing, let's get back to how do we combine these 2 layouts. And I've been struggling with that. I really tried to come up with a concept where I could basically just cut out a portion of the layout that I got from AKA Joe, and like, for example, the downtown area. Just cut out the complete downtown area and drop it into my new layout here with inside that loop, and it just didn't fit. And any way I tried, I couldn't make that fit. So I've gotten to the point where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to just have to use what's there. I'm going to take my plan is to take a couple of the scenes, like the scene with the lake and the people and the sand volleyball and that sort of thing, and keep that in its entirety. And I really like that little farm scene, so I'm going to try to make sure that I incorporate that in just the way it is, and see what else I can come up with. But the bottom line is that I don't think I'm going to be able to use as much of it as I really thought I could, or wanted to, for that matter. And so I've resigned myself to the fact that it's not going to work as I had hoped. I had all this Cato track. I've completely disassembled the track from the other layout, and convinced myself that instead of doing all of this with Flex Track, I might as well just use this Cato Unitrack because I have it. So over here along the back wall there, that was going to be a single track up to right before that curve, and since I had extra double track Cato or Cato, whatever, I decided to go ahead and extend that passing siding down almost to the curve there, and then that double track now extends all the way along the wall up there. Well, actually, that's where I had it in mind anyway. And then you see, I've got the yard pretty much all laid out. It's not laid yet. It's just track is just laying there to get an idea of how much flex track I need, and so that's all taken care of. We're going to the Cato track right here, which originally was planned to be flex track all the way around the curve there, and then this in the middle here, this passing siding, and basically this is the area for the where the train station will be. That was always intended to be the Cato, the Unitrack. And then now I've got it roughed in over here. You see the track will go into a tunnel in this area right here, and it'll stay in a tunnel, come back out of the tunnel right about here somewhere, and about where that portal is, and it'll go under the trestle on a curved bridge, and comes out of that tunnel and then comes across the bridge, and it'll be exposed a little way here. And then I'm thinking now, I think it's going to go back into a tunnel right about the end of where that riser is. And that curve then that you see in there will be hidden back inside the tunnel, and it'll come back out of the tunnel just before the trestle here. It'll be exposed and go back into a tunnel in this area right here, and it'll stay in a tunnel until it comes out basically right there in that curve. The way I've got this planned, of course, then this is going to be relatively high mountainous type region right in here, and so the layout will actually end looking at it from this way, but I'm going to leave that open in the back, so I'll have easy access to get to the tracks that are hidden in the tunnels from the back side of the layout. So that's where we are now. It's been just right about 4 weeks into this build. I'm really pleased so far with the progress. What we've accomplished here since the last video, first of all, in the mountain area, around where the trestle and the bridge going under it, that particular part of the layout, I've actually completed the trestle itself, and it's looking pretty good, I think, and it's going to fit, and so that's where we are with that. One of the reasons I have to do that, of course, is because that grade is going to be very particular from the trestle coming back around, into the tunnel, and it loops back around and then comes back out, and the other bridge goes under it, the circular bridge, and so you see here, this is pretty much the final design of that bridge area. There's going to be a waterfall coming down. It's still to be determined exactly how high that waterfall is going to be, but there's going to be a waterfall that drops down behind the trestle, and it'll come down into a lagoon, and then there'll be a river that actually runs under the lower bridge and off the edge of the layout. What I was talking about was that area around the bridges there will dictate the grading between those two bridges, and so that's what I'm working on, is trying to get that grade right. I've got the grade that comes up from around behind the yard area along the wall. That's fixed, and that's in place, and so anyway, I've got the bridges all worked out now, and you see here, this is the final design of the bridge area. So now I can start trying to figure out exactly how to structure the grading around the bridges. Here's a video of a DC train running through the bridge area. This was the general idea of what I wanted to happen. I shot this video when I was just putting the track together and trying to figure out what the layout would look like, and you see this little engine combo of 2A units and a B unit running on DC around through that area, and that was kind of fun, and that was how I was figuring what to do. And so this is kind of the idea of what I've got in mind for the height of the top of the mountain. And as I said before, this is to try to make there be a reason for the tunnels, because the mountain is so high that the railroad couldn't have economically cut through the mountain. So that's how that's going to work out. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, yeah, that's how high that mountain has to be. I don't have a choice. That's my ultimate goal. That mountaintop has to be that high. but there's no way I'm going to be able to get a track up to that mountain coal mine. So I've had to do some changes. Of course, that's what this is all about. It's all about change, right? You come up with a plan and then you change it. So I've now decided that the coal mine is going to be down below the top of the mountain, and so here's where the coal mine is going to be, and this I think is going to be doable. So I've been playing a little bit with grade, and you know, it's already a pretty steep grade coming up. That's the side of the backdrop there, and so I have to do a little practice, if you will, on that grade, so I first thing I did was I said, okay, now how much grade can one of my engines push? And so you see here I was doing a little practice with these 4 coal cars and trying to push them up the grade, and so, but that's about the limit, and so that's my basis for how high that coal mine is going to be back in the corner. And you see, I've moved that turnout farther down the grade so that I can lessen the steepness of that grade going up to the coal mine. So that coal mine spur is going to be considerably longer than I initially had planned, but that's okay. I've finally got around to connecting the DCC, and it's working great. So here you see a train running on DCC around the layout, and yeah, there's some hesitation at a couple places where I've got block section breaks and that, but we're operating on the DCC now. It's looking good. I think I'm really excited about being able to run some trains, and so we're going to continue with getting the track finalized. I've got a lot of wiring to do for turnouts. Turnout wiring is going to be monumental. I came up with an idea that I think is going to work well. And I mean, it's a game changer. You remember the layout that I bought from AKA Joe. I've talked about that many times. On that layout, at the far end of the layout, he had a tunnel. And I really had no intention of using that tunnel. But when I got to thinking about the top of my mountain, that tunnel turned into something that I'm really excited about. Take a look at this. This is just I cut it out and I just set it up there, and it's perfect. Look how good it looks, just like that. I mean, I've done nothing except cut it off of his layout and set it on top of the mountain scene that I plan to do. What could be better? I mean, I'm really excited about this, and so this is going to work out well. I'm really pleased. The top of the mountain is going to be extraordinary. I mean, look at this. This is really going to be neat. And so you see, I've got the monastery up there now, and it's just sitting there. It's actually hanging over the edge. That the mountain will actually come out right to the edge of the layout there, and so, and of course drop basically down. That'll be, the fascia will be going around that right side of the layout there, and basically just cut off everything. And so, but but this is really good. Overnight, the river cut through there. Can you believe it? The wonders and you know what does water do? It cuts through stuff. When it's left to its own devices, it just cuts right through there. And so that's what's happening. Is the river is actually cutting through the mountaintop, and you see the location of where I'm going to put the sawmill. The next thing I did, of course, in working on the mountain area is I got it all filled with foam, and then I took some plaster cloth, wet it, and started to mold the area where the river cut through the mountain on me. And so that's, of course, we're going to finish that out with rock formations, or I don't know, dirt. I really haven't decided exactly what that's all going to do, but it's really looking good. I'm pleased. And you see here, I've placed some foam in the waterfall area down to the lagoon, and started doing a little foam carving as to basically where the waterfall might go. And then you see down at the bottom of the lagoon there, there's the starting of where the river will run under the bridge, and of course under the trestle. And the next thing I did was I just took a can of brown spray paint, and I thought, okay, how's this going to look when it's not pink? And so I just spray painted the foam and to get a little better feel for what that top of that mountain may look like. And so I just stacked some foam up in front of it, and I've got a couple of buildings off of the other layout that I think will work real nice. I'm not exactly sure how that's all going to pan out. There's a lot of work to be done, but we've got this lodge with an open air restaurant that I think would go real well right there on top of the lagoon cliff there. And then that other building is kind of like a lodge, hotel, bed and breakfast type of thing that I thought might work out well up there. But I still have to do considerable design work and figure the elevations and relationship between in terms of the sawmill and that mountain top. Other thing, of course, is roads. I want to have a road going around, coming up the mountain to the sawmill, of course, and I've decided I want to have a bridge across the river from the sawmill side of the river over to the monastery. And so you see, I placed a bridge that I'm going to use as a highway bridge to cross the river there. I'm going to build it up so basically the road will go up to the bridge and cross the river, so that there'll be some elevation between the river and the bridge. But that's the plan right now. Continuing to build out the mountain area, and of course there has to be a reason for a mountain. It can't just happen, right? And so all that pink foam you see there in the front, that's going to slope down, and it's going to slope down to this area here, right where you see, I'll move over here, you see where the track comes out of the tunnel back in there, and then it's that turnout, it splits and goes into the double track that will come into the yard area, or I'm sorry, into the station area. And then the main line, of course, is going around, which in this view here is to the right. And then it comes around into what's going to be the town area. Well, one of the things I run into was that I'm really not sure how far I can bring that mountain slope out this way before I run into trouble with what the rest of the 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 town or the scenery and building layout is going to be. So I decided that the first thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to start carrying buildings in and do a layout of where buildings are going to be, where the town's going to be, and all of that sort of stuff right in this area here, so that I don't hand tie or hog tie myself in the future with how I build out that mountain. So that's where I am now. I came up with a couple other ideas this morning as I was struggling. I've got this scene right here that is from AKA Joe's layout, and it is really neat. I really like this, but I was really struggling with how to work it into my layout. You see, I don't know if I showed this to you before, but you see there's sand volleyball players and there's people in the pond. I mean, this is really cool. And I really wanted to use this, but it's pretty big. And I'm going to put it right there in that corner. I'm going to cantilever it off the workbench, and I'll move out some of that lumber that I've got stored back there, and I'm going to put it right there. It'll actually come right up close to the track. The pond will be right up close to the track, right there in that curve. I've got buildings arranged in some semblance of order. The general idea is we'll have this is City Hall right here, and so there'll be a big intersection there with a little city park across the street, and a fire station over here, a nice little row of shops on the main street, tall building on the main street. Excuse me for moving the camera so fast. Try to slow down and not make you dizzy. So basically the main street there'll be two main drags here, and you see right across the railroad track there is the bank building and some other stores, a church with a school next door. And then we have some more businesses, and then we move over into some industrial area. And then you see back over here on this side is the big yellow building I'm going to use as the power plant, and some other industrial buildings there with some rail service. And then we go down this area here, and we have the Denny's. We have a little ice cream shop, drive-in thing, an auto repair shop, a little strip mall, bus station right across the tracks from the train station, as a matter of fact, and then a row of apartment buildings. And then I've got these houses situated, they're just sitting here. Who knows exactly where they're going to end up being. Where this red house is right here is actually where I plan to put that farm scene. And then we get up here, up in the mountains, and you see there's the sawmill, and this is a hotel type lodge building that I thought might go well up there. And then this is kind of a Swiss appearing outdoor restaurant, so I thought, wow, that's a good place for that. And then you see in the background there, I've got the plan for a highway bridge to come across the river over to the monastery on the hilltop. And so that's kind of where I am right now with a preliminary design. Of course, the coal mine's back here back in the corner. And it's starting to take shape. So I'm going to play with this a little bit and see if this is exactly what I want to do, but I don't know. There's all kinds of things that can change. You know, one of the things that I'd like is like to have some pretty wide streets, but who knows how this is going to end up turning out. Well, that's pretty much where we are. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll get with 11 through 15 here in the near future, and before long, hopefully, we'll be all caught up. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit that little button down in that corner right there. And I really appreciate it. And next time we'll see what's going to happen.